He started 11 different things in the last 5 years: a business, a fitness plan, an online course, a language app still sitting untouched on his phone. He finished none of them. Everyone around him calls it laziness. It isn't. Somewhere, a long time ago, his brain learned one lesson so well that now it quits before he even gets the chance to try. Let's call him Tomas. When he was 8, his parents signed him up for piano lessons. Like most beginners, he struggled at first. One evening, after a hard practice session, his father sighed and said, "Maybe this just isn't for you." They stopped the lessons a few weeks later. The same thing happened with soccer when he was 10, and again at 12, when a science project didn't go well and his mother gently suggested he try something he was naturally better at. None of these moments were dramatic. Nobody yelled. Nobody was cruel. But little by little, Tomas learned something without anyone meaning to teach it to him. Trying hard doesn't always work out, so the safest thing to do is stop before it gets worse. This is what psychologists call learned helplessness, and it's simpler than it sounds. It just means your brain decided early on that effort doesn't change the outcome. So, why keep trying? As an adult, this same pattern kept repeating, just with bigger things. Tomas would start something new full of excitement, but the moment it got hard, something in him would quietly shut off. Within days, he'd find a good enough reason to stop. This wasn't really the right fit for me, he'd tell himself. He never noticed the real pattern. It was never really about the piano or the business or the diet. It was about that first moment things got hard, because his mind had learned decades ago that hard means stop now. Here's the hardest part. It never felt like fear. It felt like the truth. Tomas genuinely believed he just wasn't the kind of person who finishes things. He wasn't lying to himself. He was repeating an old conclusion he never got the chance to question. The moment this finally cracked open for Tomas happened during a coaching session at work after he was passed over for a promotion. His coach asked him to list every big thing he'd started and stopped over the last 10 years. The list was long. Then the coach asked one simple question: did you stop right at the beginning, or right after the first real obstacle? Tomas sat with that question longer than he expected to, and the answer was the same every single time. He never stopped because something was impossible. He stopped the moment it got difficult, every time, without exception. "I never actually found out if I could do it," he said slowly. "I always left first." If this sounds familiar, starting strong, then quietly, disappearing the second things get hard, go ahead and hit like right now. And if you want more of these every week, hit subscribe. We break down a hidden mental pattern like this one every single week. Here's the good news. This isn't permanent. Scientists have studied this exact pattern for decades, and they found something important. It's not a fixed personality trait. It's more like an old rule your brain is still following based on outdated information. Think of it like a GPS that hasn't updated its map in 20 years. It's not broken. It just needs new information to draw a better route. That's really all learned helplessness is, an old map. And old maps can be redrawn. Tomas didn't fix this with willpower. He'd already tried that, and it never worked. Instead, his coach gave him something much smaller to try. Pick one low-stakes goal, and the moment it gets hard, say it out loud. This is the part where I usually quit. I'm going to stay one more day and see what happens. He tried it with something almost silly. 10 minutes of guitar practice a day. Around week 2, right on schedule, he hit the wall. The old urge to quietly stop came right back. This time, he stayed one more day, then another. It wasn't dramatic, but it was the first real proof his brain had gotten in 30 years that trying again could actually lead somewhere new. If you tend to quit the moment things get hard and you've spent years calling it a character flaw, here's another way to see it. Somewhere along the way, you were taught that trying doesn't work. Not on purpose, not with cruelty, just through repetition. That was true once, in one specific place, with specific people. It doesn't have to be true anymore. The way out isn't more willpower. It's small, repeated proof, one more day, one more try, that this time it's actually different. If this story hit home, hit like, tell us in the comments something you've started and stopped more than once, and subscribe so you don't miss next week's story. See you in the next one.